I was watching my favorite YouTube channel, Camera Conspiracies, on a bitterly cold winter's morning, and I was surprised to hear this.
Fuji medium format, like that's so stupid overkill, but I miss it. It was funny. It was just too ridiculous. I might have to get one back one day, but I feel like the only way is to go up to Windsor, hell, and you might as well be in a Detroit sewer. That's what that city's like. Damn kids with their snowfall. Oh, God.
As someone who's grown up in the suburbs of Detroit my whole life, I've come to appreciate the rich culture and history of the city. I decided to show Kasey why it might not be such a bad idea to travel to Detroit. Adventure awaits. In selecting the best method in which to cross the border between Canada and the U.S., I always ask myself, which is a scarier way to die? If I go over the Ambassador Bridge and somehow the vehicle ends up in the Detroit River, I figure there might be a little bit of time to escape. But if you decide to drive through the tunnel and it somehow implodes, I figure death would be instantaneous and you won't feel anything at all, unless there's more of a slow leak. Entering the U.S. can sometimes be a bit tricky when the border agents ask peculiar questions, like what's in that Ziploc baggie. For some reason, whenever I enter Canada, they seem much more welcoming. But if they don't have you pull over to search your vehicle, you should be good to go. Even though it's winter, there's still a lot of exciting indoor activities to do. There's a hot rod show coming up at the end of February called Autorama. It's held at Huntington Place, which used to be known as Cobo Hall. If you don't want to pay exorbitant prices for parking, you could always park far away and walk in, or you could take the People Mover, but I wouldn't suggest making eye contact with any of the suburban teenagers. The Detroit Historical Museum is by far one of my favorite places to spend a winter's afternoon. They have a recreation of the city of Detroit from the late 1800s, and it's like wandering back in time. What I really loved is walking past the drugstore display and seeing all the lotions and potions of that time. They even had a barber shop where you could peer through the window and see a man having a shave. If I'm ever feeling uninspired, an afternoon at the Detroit Institute of Arts always leaves me feeling reinvigorated. I love seeing paintings of Jesus from the Renaissance era and beyond. I did almost get my Osmo Pocket 3 confiscated by one of the security guards, so be careful. The Henry Ford Museum is technically outside of Detroit in Dearborn, but it's well worth the trip. Not only can you see antique vehicles, but you can also see exhibits of the interiors of homes from different eras. Sometimes they even have live performances. When the weather gets a bit warmer, there's nothing more enjoyable than walking around downtown. Hart Plaza and the Detroit Riverwalk are great for slow-motion cinematography. Belle is one of my favorite places to go in Detroit. I'm there almost every weekend. I especially love it in the summer when the gardens are in full bloom. That large monument is called the Nancy Brown Peace Carillon. They have a conservatory that's full of wonderful flowers and plants, and it's really warm even in the middle of winter. On Belle Isle, they have the Dawson Great Lakes Museum where they have artifacts from the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald. You can also visit the Pilot House from the William Clay Ford. I know zoos are considered controversial, but the Detroit Zoo has given me the chance to see some exotic wildlife up close. Greenfield Village is a collection of historical homes and other buildings that Henry Ford had moved to Dearborn for preservation. You can walk inside his childhood home, and you can even see the Wright brothers' bicycle shop. If Kasey from Camera Conspiracies happens to see this, I hope you consider visiting Detroit and letting me play with your Nikon. If you like this video, give it a like, consider subscribing for more camera-related content from a newbie like me. God bless.